The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I told my dear friends at Stories to Inspire this story. I was going to say the story. The Admor Mitash. Listen to this story. The Tosher Rav in Montreal. He was at Tzaddik. Everyone knew he was a tzaddik. Everyone knew that when he said something, it was like literally HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He had a direct line. Kavi Yasha. He had a direct line to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I heard the story who this happened to. I was saying a story about Admor Mitash. Somebody came over to me, Yankee Sofa from Lakewood. I'm very maketov that he told me the story. He says he knew the story personally. We'll give two names. Avi came from a certain city that it seemed like it was far-flung. And it seems like there was only two religious people that happened to live in that city. I don't know the circumstances, but just it was only two people. Avi and David. Okay? Avi came to Admor Mitash and said, I'm having a very difficult time on closing in my house. Could Admor please help me? He says, how much money do you need? He says, I need $15,000. So Admor says, listen, I would give you the money right now. I don't have it right now. In the next day or two, if I get $15,000 that come my way, I'll send it to you. Avi says, great. Okay. 3 days passed by. A week passed by. After 2 weeks, Avi's like, okay. He went back to Montreal. Went back to Admor Mitash and said, Kvod Rabbeinu, I've been waiting already 2 weeks. I really need to close on the house. It's like a few weeks now. If I don't close on the house, it's not going to work. Mechila, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. It's been very busy. And with that, he ran out, went to the Rabbi, got $15,000 cash, gave it to him, and said, you should have Hatzlacha whenever you do. The story doesn't stop there. 5 years later, Avi's getting ready for a Shana. Suddenly, he gets a knock on his door. He opens the door. Yes. It's David, the only other Jew in this town. And David looks really uncomfortable. He says, David, is everything okay? Listen, Avi, I have to ask you, Mechila, I'm really sorry. This should have happened 5 years ago. He's like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? It's like, well, you went to that Admor Mitash 5 years ago. He says, yes. He said, you asked him for some money, correct? Yeah. He says, well, here it is. $15,000 cash. He says, David, what are you talking about? He says, I'm so embarrassed, but 2 days after you went to Admor Mitash, I also went to him to ask for a bracha. And he asked me where I come from. I told him from this unique town. Oh, you come from that unique town too? Oh, 1 second. And with that, he got up, went to this guy, says, there's someone here from that town. Here, give me the $15,000. And he gave $15,000 cash. He says, please do me a favor. When you go back to the town, please give it back to Avi. Go back to him and tell him, here's the $15,000 that I promised him. Fine, great. As I was on my way back to the town, I'm like, $15,000 cash. I can invest it. I'll just borrow it. Admor Mitash will understand. And he doesn't even know he's getting the money. So I'll just invest it. And when I make back the profit, I'll pull out put in 15, pull out 15. I'll go 1, 2, 3. The investment is so for sure I'm going to get the money back. He put the investment in. What do you think happened, Rabbi? No, not exactly. He lost it. And he says, it took me 5 years to recoup that loss. I finally made back $15,000. Please be mochel me. I shouldn't have taken your money. And with that, he gives him the $15,000. And now Avi's looking at this wad of cash going, what a tzaddik the Admor Mitash was. Can you imagine that? He realized that the person who he gave the money to never gave it to him. And when Avi came back and asked, where's my $15,000? Oh, Mechila, I'm so sorry. As if he was the bad guy. As if he was the one that forgot when he could have been like, what are you talking? But he realized if he said that, then that person would get in a fight with him, and then who knows what? He says, Talud bi, let it be on me. Atem medai, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You are my witness. Ani El, I am your God. And that's why he had a tremendous beracha in his life. Svatay Mishak, what a beautiful story.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org